I want to welcome everyone back to the Ralph. It's great to have you here again. Obviously some new faces in our group here going forward, but outstanding. It's hockey's around the corner. We started August 22nd. School started, and the puck drops on October 7th, so we're excited about that. There's been a lot of practice time, limited practice time, but a lot of chances to get on the ice with our players and get to know our new players. I want to introduce our staff to start off with. Obviously, we've had a lot of success here at North Dakota, and it's duly noted that a lot has to do with the staff that we have within our program here. So as I say your name, just give a quick wave here. Associate Head Coach Dane Jackson. Assistant Coach Carl Gehring. New Assistant Coach Dylan Simpson. We have Pat Swanson, Dan Johansson, Ryan Leducer. Outstanding people. The two people that aren't up here today are Mark Poolman and John Fitzgerald that work within our strength and performance, human performance side of it. They do an outstanding job on a daily basis. And again, a lot of times when you think of a job consists of sometimes 9 to 5, right? It's not 9 to 5 when you come and play for or work for UND hockey. There's a lot of uncomfortable hours that you have to be in and around, whether it's here at the Ralph or on the road recruiting. And I want to thank these guys here for doing an outstanding job, and we wouldn't have the success if they didn't put the time and effort into it. Alec talked about our captains. I feel our captaincy group is a strength of ours. When you talk about Reese Gaber and what he's done at our program so far in his body of work, he has captain experience. He played for the Dubuque Fighting Saints, was a captain there, did a great job of winning championships in the junior hockey league level, and now for him to take the reins at North Dakota, we're very extremely proud of him doing that as well. Just to let you know how we do that, and I always say this each and every year because I think it's a very important part of our culture, that as coaches, we seem to think we know a lot, but at the end of the day, the players really do know a lot as far as how your group is put together and how that functions in the locker room. So what we usually do is let our captains vote, or not let our captains, let our players vote for captains. This year it shook out where Reese Gaber's our captain, Louis Jammernick, Jake Schmaltz, Carson Albrecht, and Keaton Pearson are assistant captains. And one note of that is Keaton Pearson is a transfer. I don't believe we've ever had a transfer that got voted as a captain here at North Dakota. And it says a lot about what our players think of a guy like Keaton Pearson. Obviously, he played for a very good program in Michigan, where he was a captain there. And how he got to be an assistant captain here as well as the rest of the players. We got together for 5 weeks. It was voluntary training in the summer. Mark Poulin got to work with them in the weight room, and you get to see kind of the inner function of what goes on and who kind of leads the way in different things. And in our group, our 12 returning players as well as our new players, gave a lot of votes to Keaton Pearson as well as being worthy to be an assistant captain. So again, these guys just don't get anointed with a letter. They get through their peers as far as who they think our captaincy group is. And I'll let you know, from our coaching staff standpoint, we're 100% on board. That's who we felt was our captains as well. So I thought that was pretty neat. Alec mentioned about our 14 new players. This isn't new to us at North Dakota. 2 years ago, we had 14 players. Again, we won a Penrose championship. At the start of the season, everybody's asking how that works and how that's going to go. It doesn't guarantee a success, but we did have success that year. It can happen again. Obviously, there's going to be a journey, a lot of work that has to go into it, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But there's something to be said about having new players coming into your group. We were blessed to have Gavin Hain and Mark Senden come back for 50 years last year, and they helped our group. But there's something to be said about having new players, whether it's a transfer, whether it's a freshman coming in that doesn't know what's coming around the corner, that has a youthful exuberance or an excitement about something new coming into a program, and you're seeing that. Eric Burton, who's here today, one of the things I like about this press conference and the way it goes is we have the question and answers, the interviews before we get up here. One of the things that Eric asked me, he goes, hey, do you see a kind of a positive, a very energetic vibe in your group? And before I answered that question, I said, well, why do you ask that? Like, what do you feel? Like, how do you know about that? Well, he goes, well, I walked into the rink today and I saw practice go on, and I heard it. I haven't heard that in a long time. I haven't heard that that sense of excitement, that exuberance on the ice. So for him to say that to me, that's music to our ears, because that's what we see as coaches. But sometimes when you get people from outside coming in that haven't been around your group, that's a positive thing for me. So that's how we feel as well, as far as that exuberance of 14 new guys coming in here. I'm not going to go through each and every player in that 14 new faces of our 14 players, but some guys to keep an eye on. Jaden Perron, through his small body of work here in practice, watch number 18 for us. He is very dynamic. He is very quick. He is so competitive. He's quick on his edges. He's quick to pucks. He can finish plays. He's a guy to keep an eye on early on in the season. Abram Weeb and Jake Livanovich, two freshman defensemen, but in saying that, these guys have played 3 years of junior hockey. So even though they haven't played under the bright lights of the college game, these guys played a ton of junior hockey, and you know what? They look like experienced players on the ice. Now, when the puck drops up to October 7th, and then in the non-conference schedule that we have, and the NCHC schedule, it might be a different story. They'll have their learning curve. They'll have some mistakes they make, but at the end of the day, they're not afraid to play. Those guys are going to be guys on their toes and guys with some exuberance in their game. And then as far as the transfer side of it, I thought that was a big pickup in having Cameron Berg come into our group. We were looking for a centerman, a guy with some experience, a guy that can not only finish plays and make plays, but play a hard game through the middle of the ice. We watched him a lot. He played for Omaha in the NCHC, so we got to see him quite a bit. And, he translated into the way we play here at North Dakota, so we're excited about having him. And then when you talk about some guys on the back end, Keaton Pearson, Garrett Pike, two guys that wore letters for their respective organizations as far as captains that are coming in here as fifth-year players. That's a big, big deal. So everybody gets kind of scared or fearful a little bit about 8 new D, and you know what? That is a little bit overwhelming at times, but when you really think about it, you have 4 guys that played with a lot of experience as transfers to come in here to calm the play down, to know the situation of whether you win games or lose games, you're at an even keel. You're at a standpoint where you got guys that have experience that went through all these trials and tribulations of college hockey. And then the other 4 guys coming in, they're a situation of making sure that we have a good body of work and a good blend of players here. Going back to the captaincy group, us as coaches, we're around our players in a limited amount of time, especially right now. We're in the 8-hour weeks. We're going to get to the 20-hour week where we get to go on the ice more with them and in the weight room and different things like that with video. But at the end of the day, your captains are an extension of the coaching staff. And I thought our captains have done an outstanding job of getting these 14 players to get to know what our traditions and history and our culture here at North Dakota is, as far as in the weight room, on the ice, in the community. We've already done a lot of community service work about how we conduct ourselves as North Dakota hockey players. So again, captains are going to be a big part of this as far as our integration of new players into our group right away here. Some of the points of emphasis that we're going to lead into the season here. Alec mentioned about the second longest streak in history, the winning percentage, all that stuff. We didn't make the national tournament last year, okay? We didn't make the national tournament a few years ago. We didn't make it last year. Our goal is to make the national tournament every year, to hang one of those green banners at the end of the rink right here. So again, our biggest thing is knowing that the journey ahead is going to be long, but we have to give ourselves a chance early in the season, okay? We have 14 new players coming in with 12 returning players. Everybody getting on the same page of how we play each and every day, how we conduct ourselves every day. And the second thing on that side of it is habits and details are a big part of it, right? Harping on the things that we have to do on a daily basis to give ourselves consistency every single day. And again, if it's a situation where we're not doing it consistently, we will do it consistently by doing reps in it, by talking about it, by making sure that everybody knows what's going on early in the season. Consistency will give yourself a chance to win games early on in the season. I felt last year we weren't consistent enough as far as the way we played. We were a little bit loose in our D-zone coverage, a little bit loose our play away from the puck. That's not going to happen this year. At the end of the day, we have really good offensive players, guys that can put the puck in the net, guys that can make high-end plays at high speeds. We have to be very good away from the puck, meaning that When we don't have it, we're going to get it back. And when we're playing in our end of the rink, we're going to be tight in front of our goaltenders and not leave them on an island as far as making the second and third save. So again, playing well defensively is going to be a big part of us going forward here and making sure that we get off to a great start. And again, that great start, you have to build your body of work to make the national tournament. You have to build your body of work early in the season instead of like last year chasing it in the second half. And we did play well in the second half, but by that time, man, you're spending a lot of time and energy. You have to be sharp early on to build up those non-conference wins and those conference wins to get you into the conference tournament. So those are some of the things that we're going to be kind of harping on early on, the habits and details, the consistency part, getting everybody on the same page and playing well defensively in front of our goaltenders. Moving on to recruiting here. I got to be limited. Obviously, Liz, you're a big part of our group here in compliance. Welcome to our family, Liz. New member of the UND Athletic Department. But at the end of the day, recruiting's big at North Dakota. It's something that's not seasonal. It's something that's an everyday thing for us, that we're always talking about it, thinking about it. We had a chance to get out to Pittsburgh to the USHL showcase. We're going to all these different showcases around the country. We're at the junior league level where we have committed players playing that are coming in next year or the year after. We feel we have a really good future ahead of us with committed players. In saying that, I'm not allowed to comment on ones that just committed, but at the end of the day, we've had a pretty good run on committed players in the last probably 2 or 3 months coming into our program. The future looks bright for North Dakota hockey, and I want to hand it to the assistant coaches here that have done a great job of not only identifying, but building those relationships with parents and players and advisors to know what goes on at North Dakota and them having a good feeling about coming here. So again, we feel really good about the recruiting side of it going forward here. Lastly, I want to mention is FanFest. We're getting back to the green and white game, and we're really excited about that. Obviously we haven't done it in a while, but we find that it's going to be a benefit for not only us, but our fans. Our fans to get to know the players, especially the 14 new guys, but for us coaches here to try to get the reps in a game-like setting before we finally drop the puck on October 7th. So a few things to look forward to on October 7th or October 3rd for that green-white game is we're going to work different scenarios. We're going to play even strength 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, but we are going to get into specialty teams, 5-on-4, 4-on-5, 6-on-5 up and down. We'll do a little shootout at the end. So when we get under these lights here in a situation where the result doesn't matter in the pairwise standings, at least our 14 new guys and our 12 returning players can collectively play as a team in a game-like setting before we finally drop the puck October 7th. So we're really looking forward to that. We welcome you all here for that and look forward to seeing you in the rink.